Voldemort is without a doubt one of the most evil characters of all time. He is up there with some of the best villains. But as all villains go, sometimes their plans don't go exactly how they would want them to, and Voldemort is no exception. Voldemort is known for making dumb plans that always come so close to going right, but normally they never do. And sometimes his strategies just don't make any sense, like how he'll always wait to the end of Harry's school year to try and kill him, because unless Voldemort really cares about Harry's education, or he wants to secretly lose to a high school student. Maybe Voldemort isn't as bright as we thought he was. So for today, I'm going to be ranking all of Voldemort's plans in the Harry Potter books/movies from the worst to the best, and also there will be spoilers for the entire Harry Potter series in this video. Now let's get into it. Coming in at number 7 is Voldemort's plan in The Prisoner of Azkaban. I wasn't sure if I should even put this one on the list because Voldemort doesn't even make an appearance in this book. After 2 movies of torturing and trying to kill Harry, this is basically the year where Voldemort takes a year off and doesn't even bother to make a plan. At number 6 is Voldemort's plan in The Half-Blood Prince. Now, as you know, this book is all about Voldemort and Harry and Dumbledore exploring his past and learning about the Horcruxes. And considering how much the book is centered around him, Voldemort again doesn't make an appearance for some reason. I don't know, I guess he was too busy to make an appearance because he is planning his big entrance for the Deathly Hallows, or he thought that Harry had enough going on this year. That said though, this book we do hear a lot about how the Death Eaters are causing terror in both the Wizarding world and the Muggle world, and how they are killing a lot of people. But as far as Voldemort and his plan goes for Harry that year, he stays pretty quiet. At number 5, we have Voldemort's plan in The Goblet of Fire, the one where Voldemort returns. Voldemort's plan in this book is just straight up ridiculous. He needs a drop of Harry's blood so he can touch Harry because of his mother's protection. So his plan is to send one of his Death Eaters to Hogwarts to disguise himself as Mad-Eye Moody so he can enter Harry in a life-threatening tournament where he nearly dies several times, so in the unlikely event where Harry does touch the Triwizard Cup first and win, sending him to a graveyard where Voldemort is getting brought back to life so Wormtail can take a drop of Harry's blood so Voldemort can return. And then Voldemort duels Harry so he can kill him, and Harry just ends up getting away anyway. I don't know how Voldemort thought this would be the best way to go about things, because there are just so many easier ways to get Harry's blood. Like, why didn't Barty Crouch Jr., who was being disguised as Mad-Eye Moody that year, just take a bit of Harry's blood while he was at school? And then Voldemort can just kill Harry when he least expects it. Was this really the most simple option, Voldemort? Number 4, we have Voldemort's plan in The Philosopher's Stone. After Voldemort has been hiding for 10 years after little baby Harry killed the Dark Lord, Voldemort returns, on the back of a teacher's head. I mean, it's not a bad idea for him to be attached to Professor Quirrell's head for an entire school year, but how uncomfortable would that be, being stuck under a turban for a year? Before Voldemort was on the back of Quirrell's head, Quirrell actually taught Muggle studies before coming to teach Defense Against the Dark Arts the same year Harry came to Hogwarts. Voldemort basically tricked Quirrell and took over his body. And they nearly did kill Harry, but because Harry had his mother's protection, Voldemort along with Quirrell turned into dust. So yeah, I guess Voldemort's whole plan kind of fell apart that year. Number 3, we have Voldemort's plan in the Order of the Phoenix. Voldemort's plan in this book was to try and get the prophecy about him and Harry, the one where neither can live where the other survives, and by doing this he invades Harry's mind and controls his thoughts during that whole year and tricks Harry into going to the Ministry to receive the prophecy. This plan in this book actually makes a lot of sense because invading Harry's mind and tricking him is not a bad plan, and it's something that I'm surprised he doesn't use more often. And he wouldn't have succeeded if the prophecy had not been destroyed, and Dumbledore had come to save Harry, and the Ministry turned up and saw him. But apart from that, it's not actually a bad plan. Number 2, we have Voldemort's plan in the Chamber of Secrets. After trying to kill Harry in the last book, Voldemort returns as a younger version of himself from a memory that's been preserved in a diary for 50 years. And by doing this, he's able to brainwash Ginny Weasley, the last person you would expect to open the Chamber of Secrets, and unleash a deadly snake. He's then able to transfer her life into himself and return. And I guess Voldemort was definitely smarter as a student because this is actually quite a good plan that makes a lot of sense. And really nothing could go wrong. He literally has a massive killer snake on his side. And if it weren't for Harry so randomly just stabbing the diary with the Basilisk Fang, one of the few things that can actually destroy a Horcrux, he would have succeeded, returning and seeing Harry die in front of him. And he would have come back as his younger self as well, which I guess is a bonus because I'm sure he would rather come back as this than that. And at number 1, we have Voldemort's plan in the Deathly Hallows. Now, I know this is the one where Voldemort does get defeated and lose everything he's worked so hard to achieve, but hear me out. In this book, with Dumbledore now gone and the entire wizarding world living in fear of Voldemort, Voldemort is basically at his height as he was in the First Wizarding War. But before he does take over the wizarding world, he has to kill Harry, which he does. And once he has killed Harry, really nothing could go wrong from here. And as he's starting to make his big plans what he's going to do with the wizarding world, Harry comes back to life. Like, look how confused Voldemort looks as Harry falls to the ground. He is so annoyed. And then, as you know, the final bits of the Horcrux were destroyed and Voldemort dies. Now, yes, you do look at Voldemort's plan on a larger scale, and it doesn't look that impressive. Like, trying to take over a high school and failing, come on. But he does come close to winning the war. If it weren't for him accidentally hiding a bit of his own soul in his enemy that he was trying to kill, wouldn't recommend, it's pretty straightforward plan. Trying to kill Harry Potter and take over the wizarding world, which he does come so close to doing. But I guess all villains' plans have to go wrong somewhere if the hero wants to win. So that is why it's at number 1. And there you go, there all of Voldemort's plans ranked. Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a big thumbs up. And I'll see you next Friday.